I thought my guests were going to sing that song, you know.
Is that what the signal was? The signal was begin singing now?
Exactly.
Wow.
Because I know when my guests from the U.S. Embassy, they come here, they just love this song. I mean, I just always want a good morning, Kathy Adams and Jonathan Roy. How are you?
Good morning.
We're well. Good morning.
I want to ask you, why you guys just seem to love this song. Every single consular officer who comes here, the moment they hear that song, they start to laugh. In Kathy, there's something special about it. I don't plan to answer me.
Well, I used to have a job where I flew every week before I got into this government service thing.
Yeah.
So, that was
so
pretty
you don't
much...
have a job now?
Well... I have a government job now, but back then I traveled every week for 20 years, so consequently this was sort of my theme song. My friends always tease me about it.
I'm leaving. Come on, guys.
I was always sleeping on a jet plane.
I think it's also it's one of those iconic songs where a lot of Americans know just those lines and just know I'm leaving on a jet plane, don't know when I'll be back, but don't know anything else of the song, and so to hear it.
That's my problem. I was hoping that you guys would have joined in, and you have disappointed me. Good to have you, Kathy Adams and Jonathan Roy, consular officers from the United States Embassy right here in Kingston, and they'll be here for the next hour, just up until about 11:50. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, anything news happening or same old story? I must tell you, I passed by the embassy, I think, last week. And I still see the long lines, and I know why. I know why you still have those long lines. Kathy, Jonathan?
We do still have those long lines. But we're happy to see those long lines because we want every qualified traveler to be issued a visa. And so we're seeing more and more people coming in. We had a big push right before the Christmas holidays, and it's starting to taper off a little bit as people finish their travels for the holidays and get back to going to school. But we're looking forward to seeing some of our other people who are going to be coming in, like the temporary workers who go for the summertime and the students who go for internships. And the agricultural workers who will be going to help out in the United States. We're looking forward to all those numbers coming in as well.
But I know the reason I believe that although you love to see persons coming in to apply for their visas, I know one of the reasons these persons have to form this long line is because they are coming too early. I see people out there from very early in the morning, and they have to get a chair, and of course you have residents in the area who rent them a chair, I assume. But I'm sure if they come at the time that they are given.
Right. No, there definitely are the entrepreneurs out there who have their businesses running. We do want to encourage people that you are going to be seen. If you have an appointment on that day, there's no reason to arrive hours and hours before your appointment because you're just going to end up sitting there. Well, we encourage you to arrive at your appointment time, and that will help us speed you through the process as efficiently as possible.
So if it's 9 o'clock, yes, Kathy.
Well, I'll add something that I came from another post recently, Santo Domingo, and the folks will start lining up at 6 a.m. even if they had an appointment much later in the day.
Really?
And the reason, and no matter how much the embassy tried to put out the word, please don't come till your appointment time. We literally don't have enough room for you to be here.
Yes.
It persisted because it was commonly believed in the Dominican Republic, and I assume in many parts of the world, that you had to get there early because we were only going to give out so many visas that day. And if you didn't get there early, you would never get one. And in fact, there's no, at least for our tourist visas, there's no numerical limit on the number of visas we give. If you are qualified, you will receive a visa. And it doesn't matter whether you come at 7 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. There's no numerical limit on them.
We're not going to penalize you for showing up early either. And I mean, inside we have there's food for sale, there's water, there's bathrooms, and there's facilities if you do show up early. But there's no need, there's no necessity to come in before your appointment time.
So you want to make it very clear: is not a first come, first serve the basis at all. Well, you have an appointment, and if you qualify, you'll get your visa. So there's no need to turn up 1 hour prior to that appointment.
Right.
We have a caller on the line. Les, how are you? Good morning. I think we lost that call. I think that person probably ran out of credit. I'm going to ask you to try again. But listeners, make sure that when you're going to call this program, you might be on for a little while, so you have to make sure that you get enough credit. If you don't have enough credit, you will not have enough talk. So you just make sure you get enough credit before you call us. All right, so Kathy and Jonathan, so we have made that point. But I don't know how you're going to change that in people's mind. That's not going to be an easy one to change. As far as they're concerned, you have a limited amount of visas. And listeners, this is not so. We have been told that. No, there's no quota system for the visitors. If you're visiting the States, so long as you qualify, am I right? I'm hoping I am learning, so.
No, you're absolutely right.
Right? You don't have to go there first to get it. You just say, you can get it before your friend. Now, man, if all you go there and they think you qualify and they think you ought to get it, then they'll give it to you. Just go there with a document of truth.
That's right.
We have a caller on the line. And Andrew, how are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Not too bad at all. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Spanish Town.
Hey, good to have you. You go right ahead. You have Kathy and Jonathan.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning, Andrew.
Hi. Good morning, Andrew.
All right. I have a quick question for you guys. I'm in the process of doing my immigrant visa. I mean, the NVC has sent all the information to Kingston for processing. My question is, though, I noticed that when I go on the visa status website, my priority date has not come yet. My priority date is actually the 24th of November 2004, but what is being processed now, according to the site, is the 15th of October 2004. Is it that my priority date has to come before I hear back from the consulate in Jamaica?
Yes. Let me take that back. There are occasions when an applicant will appear to be qualified and we set appointments, they get all their documents together, and then for reasons way too complicated to go into here, the priority dates are retrogressed, which means you were ready to go, but now you've got to wait a little bit longer. But if I understand your question correctly, Andrew, you're asking, will you get an appointment before your date becomes current?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, you want to expand on that, Jonathan?
I mean, it's possible that it could happen in the circumstance that Kathy just described. If they may have set your appointment, but if you haven't received an appointment already, then you're probably not going to be subject to retrogression. Usually, the retrogression happens where you receive an appointment and then later you find out that you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. The information is not usually sent from NVC to the embassy until they've set your appointment date as well. So it just may be that you've got your file totally current, everything is correct, and they're just waiting for the case to become current so they can set the appointment date for you. But that information. I'm say that information on the appointment is going to come from NVC, not from the embassy.
Oh, it comes from the NVC. Oh, okay, because the information I got from the NVC is that they have now completed everything, and anything I need to speak to the consulate in Jamaica. Do not direct any questions to them at all. They have completed the case, and it's now with Kingston.
But they didn't send you an appointment letter. What type of who's filing for you?
My mother.
Okay. It may be that they just haven't sent the appointment letter, or it may be that they set the appointment, but for some reason you haven't received it. I would check back with NVC to find out for sure.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Okay. All the best. You have a wonderful day. So, now, we talked about persons turning up very early, and I don't know how you're going to change it. I think you probably have to come on this program for the next probably 10, 15 or 20 years and keep reminding persons that there's absolutely no need to go to the embassy prior to your appointment time. And then, one would probably get the impression that you are encouraging a crowd at the embassy, which is not so.
No.
But I know you have tried and you've been on this program, right, Roy and Kathy, and telling persons that, just come at the time when you have been given.
Well, that's why we give appointments. It's trying to cut down on the amount of time that people have to wait to be seen. So that's why we try to do that. It's for the convenience of our applicants and to make it a more pleasant experience for them. And they really do not need to arrive before their appointment time. We really promise that's the truth.
Yes, it's not trust comfort. Okay, we have Laura on the line. Laura, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
Okay.
Oh,
Happy
okay.
New Year.
Yay, what a thing. How is safe to you too? First time you're calling me?
Yeah, first time caller.
I
Long
figures.
time listener, first time caller.
Exactly.
I have a question for the gentleman and air. I am wondering.
I wonder why not talking to the lady.
Well, I'm trying to reach anyone that's worked with you, the embassy.
Well, both of them do, Kathy and Jonathan. You go ahead. I'm just giving you trouble.
Okay, then. I'm calling to find out, if you're on filing, is it possible for you to go and apply for a visa?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand.
She was saying that apparently she believes somebody's filing for her to go to the States for permanent residency. Can she, at the same time, apply for a visitor's visa? Have I got it correctly?
Yes, you do.
Well, actually, I deal with immigrant visas, and my colleague Jonathan deals with non-immigrant visas.
Okay.
And since I could answer your question, but I think it's better to let Jonathan do it, and I'll tell you why. Because he has to train his officers in how to deal with your situation. Is that going to be a problem for you? And I think it's best to get it straight from the horse's mouth how he instructs his officers to deal with that very situation.
And I would protest. A horse? I would protest.
A horse? I don't know. She's going to throw me under the bus like that.
Exactly.
At least I'll be something big enough the bus can't drive over me.
Well, Jonathan, that question is for you then. I threw that question.
I'm happy to answer the question. You know, this is a situation that comes up a lot because there are so many folks who are being filed for by their loved ones. And we see it every day, people applying for visitor visas who also have their filing in process. And what I tell the officers and what I'll tell you is that makes total sense to us. It makes sense that someone who is in the process of immigrating to the United States at some point in the future, who knows that they have a long time to wait, would also want to be able to go and visit friends and family in the intervening period. So there's nothing in the regulation that precludes someone from holding a non-immigrant or a visitor visa at the same time that they're being filed for. At the same time, we do consider all of those factors when we're looking at someone's qualifications for a visitor's visa. So, you know, if it looks like someone is trying to jump the line, or if it looks like they're just going to, you know, visit their friends and family, those are the kinds of factors that the officer is going to be asking questions about in the interview. Sometimes it doesn't even come up. You may not be asked any questions about the immigrant visa petition, or they may ask questions. It just depends on all of the factors in your case. There is no one single factor that's going to tip, you know, the case one way or the other.
Okay, the reason why I asked is that I am on filing going 2 years now, and I am also self-employed. And I would like to take a trip to go and look for my mom. She's the one who's filing for me. And everybody keeps saying, okay, you can't go and apply because you're in filing, they're going to turn you down. So that is the reason why I want to hear it from the horse mouth.
Are you coming? Hello. Are you coming up calling my guest horse?
No, I'm just referring to what's her name again said that it's best if I hear it from the horse mouth.
And let me tell you something before you go any further. See, I would want to know, why would you want to hear it from those other horses out there when you have the real horses inside here? Why?
That's the reason why I call. I want it from inside and not from out.
Exactly. I'll give you enough trouble. You go ahead.
Yeah, that's the reason why I just wanted to know if I could, because I'm self-employed. I'm on filing going 2 years now, and I would like to take a trip to go and look for my mom. That's the reason why I'm calling. And to me, I think self-employed people have a tendency of not getting it.
And that's just fine for you to apply. I'm not going to do a visa interview over the radio.
I know. I don't expect you to.
You know, but like Vernon said before, the most important thing is just to be forthright and honest when you come in. You know, there's a lot of rumors, a lot of misinformation. People think, well, if I say I have family, then, you know, then I'm not going to be able to get a visa. But really what we want is people just to be honest with us so that you have credibility in everything else that you say in the interview.
And if I could add, Lorna, one thing from the immigrant visa side, it also happens quite frequently that when someone has applied for a tourist visa in the past, we go and we look and see what story they told us. And so, consequently, I cannot stress enough as what Jonathan said about being honest with us. You may think you know what we want to hear, but you would probably be wrong. So it's best to always be completely honest with us, because we will hold it against you in the future if we find otherwise.
Okay, then. Thank you.
And she has put it very nicely. Let me see if I can translate that one. Kathy, help me. Tell me if I'm saying what is not true. It is better to tell the truth and don't get it than to tell a lie and get it.
Get it, yes, I know. Because we're here on filing, I know it will mess it up, because when you actually go in back, it's going to show a different thing from what you said from before.
Now, although you have heard it from the horse's mouth, you don't go and tell everybody. No, you tell them to listen to this program and hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yes, okay. I have one next question. So
I'm going to charge you for that one. So go on quick and decide about to charge you.
Their parents is filing for them, but they are on a court case where it involves hurting someone. It's an injury case, and they're wondering if that's going to be a problem for them when the filing comes through.
I'm not sure I understand.
When you say injury case, explain that to me.
They have a court case where they stab up somebody in self-defense.
Oh, okay. I see what you're asking.
That's in Jamaica here. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
So you're asking then, would that be a problem for obtaining a visa?
No, they are on filing, and their filing soon come through. So I'm wondering if that is going to cause a problem when they go in for their visa. When the paperwork's finished and they get all the paperwork and come into you guys, if it's going to cause a problem. Because remember, the police record is going to show where you have an injury case.
Okay.
Well, not only is the police record going to show, but the application is going to ask, have you ever been arrested, even though you've never been convicted or anything? That's one of the questions both for immigrants and for non-immigrants.
Yes, it is.
So, to answer your question, Lorna, we do, if you have been convicted of a crime, yes, that can be a problem, but it's not an insurmountable problem. A lot of it depends on the circumstances. Certainly from the immigrant visa standpoint, there are waivers available in many cases. From the non-immigrant or the tourist visa side of it, you have much less options to get around it. But yes, we do take criminal convictions into account, depending on how serious the offense in question.
All right. Okay, we have to move on, you see.
And enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, man, and you have a wonderful day, and I wish you all the best, you see.
Thank
all right. Let's now go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, not bad.
Yeah, where are you calling from?
Spanish Town, St. Catherine.
Good morning to my friends in Spanish Town. You go right ahead.
My daughter is filing for me, but when they sent her the paper for affidavit of support and to pay for the visa, when she started to fill out the affidavit of support, they asked for 3-year tax return, in which case she was in university at the time. So she didn't have any tax paper, so she just stopped it right there.
That's not a fatal flaw, Cassandra. You can't submit what you don't have. And certainly if you were at university earning a degree so that you could get employment, we would certainly understand that. And if she wished to just include a note about that and just say, I only have 1 year of tax return because I was in school until that time, that certainly makes sense. Pretty much everything we do goes from the standpoint, the way we judge anything is, does it make sense? And certainly someone being in university or some other educational program and not working and filing taxes, that certainly makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds like the key in this case, Cassandra, is going to be for her to go back to NVC, to the National Visa Center, and communicate with them that she doesn't have those documents and what can she provide in lieu of those documents. And like Kathy said, it's probably going to be a letter explaining why she didn't file her taxes, why she doesn't have those returns to offer them.
So, question. I had went in and applied for a visitor's visa before she started filing, and the officer there said to me to let her file for me. I said to him, she's in university, and he said that doesn't stop her from filing for me. I said, but normally you have to be working that she could be able to maintain me. He said, as long as I have somebody else who could fill out the affidavit of support form, that would be okay.
Okay.
So he had turned me down and said to let my daughter file for me because she's a citizen. But she got that last year July, and from last year July, I don't know if she opened back the file or anything. So I wonder, is it still active or what? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, Cassandra, if I understand the facts that you've outlined here.
I'm not hearing you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now, Cassandra? Hello? Can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you.
I think there's a problem with the line. I tell you what, she's going to answer you, so I think probably what he can do is just probably hang up because we're not hearing you very well at all. All right? You can go ahead.
All right, to answer
Kathy.
Cassandra's question, if I understood all the circumstances, she's saying that someone told her that her daughter could not file for her because she was not working at the time.
Yes.
A filing is based on a relationship, not on an employment status. So we have, for instance, elderly parents who have been retired for many years and they don't have any income. They don't file taxes because they don't have any income.
Right.
And they certainly will file for their children and relatives. Now, what does happen is we will then ask for a joint sponsor to fill out the paperwork and provide evidence of their income. But it does not have to be the petitioner, and certainly the petitioner does not have to be employed in order to file a petition for a relative to come.
If you go for joint sponsorship, can it be anyone or that person has to be related to the person who is being filed for?
No, they do not have to be a relative.
Yes.
However, that person will have to submit proof that they are a citizen of the United States or a legal permanent resident. Okay, they just make a copy of passport, birth certificate, their green card, whatever, as their proof that they're legally in the United States. But if I might, the one thing that they can't submit to us is a driver's license, because the United States driver's license does not tell us where you are a citizen or what your immigration status is. So tell your loved ones, don't send a picture, don't send a copy of your driver's license.
That will drive you crazy. We have another caller on the line. Tonish, good morning. How are you? Is it Tonish or Tanish?
Tanish.
Or Tanish?
Yes.
How good to have you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Jamaica Amateur Gymnastics Association.
Okay, so you go ahead then.
All right.
We have a bit of noise in the background. Can you move away and go into to a quieter area?
Sure, I can.
Yes. Go ahead now.
I'm calling regarding some athletes that we had that went to the U.S. Embassy recently. We were traveling on February 25th to our first international competition as the junior development team of Jamaica. However, we had some gymnasts who were granted and some who were denied visas. For the ones who were denied visas, we had go ahead and start to appeal by asking the JOA, the Jamaica Olympic Association, to send a letter to the U.S. Embassy. Now I'm calling to find out what will be our next step towards getting this done.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that some of the team got their visas while some didn't. It's disappointing that I understand that they wouldn't all get to go together. Without looking at the cases and knowing specifically under what grounds they were denied, most people get denied under what's called 214B. And in those cases, there is no such thing as an appeal. There's no way to appeal that denial. But the good news is that it's not a permanent denial. And what they need to do is they need to reapply for visas. And when you reapply for a visa, you're given fresh consideration by another consular officer. If you happen to appear in front of the officer who interviewed you before, we're required to pass that case on to another officer. They're not allowed to look at it again. It has to be reviewed by someone different. Although we all use the same law, so what we often tell people, because they'll ask us, well, when can I come back? I was just denied. When can I try again? There's nothing stopping you from trying again right away. But because we all do use the same law and we evaluate cases in the same way, if there's nothing significantly different in your case to present, you're likely going to get the same result. There hasn't been any change in visa law recently. And without you being able to demonstrate evidence that wasn't presented in your first interview or something that's significantly different in your life, it's going to be hard for an officer to come to a different decision. They're probably going to arrive at the same decision. That's why people end up waiting longer, so that there's more time in between their interviews and they've got different information to present.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a wonderful day. Okay, we have Candice on the line. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. I think something. I think the credit ran out again. Ooh. All right. And, I think, Jonathan, the fact that you're probably applying to go as a part of a team, you let me know, persons might believe that because you're going with as a part of a team, then more than likely you get your visa. But this is not automatic based on what I'm hearing.
Right, there's no such thing as really a group visa. The visas are individual, and each individual has to qualify on their own. So it's unfortunate for groups that end up with members who aren't able to travel. But it does happen that when you come in as a group, there sometimes are people in the group who qualify, and sometimes there are people who don't qualify.
Because you're evaluated on an individual basis.
That said, it is very helpful that if you're part of a group that you do all come together, because if there is something that's common that's linking people together, it's very helpful for us to be able to evaluate all those people at the same time.
But I can think of one thing that can probably affect you, and you can tell me whether or not I'm correct. If you applied before and you give incorrect information, and then you're applying as a part of a group, when you're being evaluated, more than likely they will see that information, that you gave incorrect information in the past. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct. We will see that information, and that, as has been mentioned already, is probably one of the worst things you can do for your chances of getting a visa.
Okay. All right, let's go now to Linton. Good morning, Linton. How are you, and where are you calling from? Glenton.
Hello, yes.
Is it Glenton?
Yeah, Glenton.
Yeah, man, good to have you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Kingston Level, Dillis Avenue.
Yeah, man, good to have you. Go ahead. Good morning.
Yeah, morning. My question is, if you apply for a visa and you go to visit, you cannot work. You know that. When you come back, can you apply back for a working visa?
All right, Glenn, I think I understand your question. You're absolutely right on the first point. If you apply for a visitor visa, that's the B1, B2, and you're going to visit family and as a tourist, there's no authorization to work in the United States when you're on that visa. If you do work on it, your visa is canceled. You won't be able to travel back, and probably be hard to get a visa in the future. As far as applying for a working visa, there's nothing to stop you from holding both a tourist visa and a working visa at the same time. There are lots of Jamaicans who do just that. They travel on the farm work program, or they travel on part of the H-2B program, and then when they're not in the United States working, they want to travel and visit family, so they have their tourist visa that they also travel on at those different times. So
I could apply back for the working visa?
You can. What I was about to say was that applying for a working visa is different from applying for a visitor visa. It's not usually something that you initiate. Usually there is an employer in the United States who has to file a petition on your behalf. So you can't just apply for a working visa the same way that you would for a visitor. You have to go through a different process that begins with the employer in the United States.
Okay, so if I'm an employer over there and I could get some work, I'll tell them to apply for a visa, a working permit or something.
Yeah, it would depend on what type of work you wanted to do. You might visit one of the local recruiters in Jamaica, or even the Ministry of Labor. The Ministry of Labor here does a lot of work with both agricultural workers and the H-2B program, and they'd be a good source of information for you.
All right, so what you probably need to do is to make contact with the Ministry of Labor to see if you qualify to probably get a work permit through any other programs. Am I correct?
That's correct.
All right, but what they say, you can't just go and just apply for a work permit like that.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Kathy, am I? Yeah.
Yes,
you're
correct.
Right. Okay.
You're my next question.
I'm going to charge you for the next one.
My next question is, if you go to America, so some reason like it there, or you like somehow you and your family to migrate and live there, what kind of process you have to go through?
Well, I'm going to go for the break. What is saying, Kathy, if he goes to the States and he would like to live there, what he needs to do? But then again, I think you have gone through that. Somebody would have to file for him. Is probably a mother, father, or if you have a spouse there, they'd have to file for him. He couldn't just file for himself like that, unless he falls in a special category.
Right. There are very, very few people would qualify for that special type of treatment. It, generally speaking, yes, somebody has to file for you. You can't just get there and say, "Oh, I like it here," and stay. Sadly, your tourist visa won't allow that. And if you do not return to your country as you promised to do when we give you a tourist visa, then as Jonathan said, it's going to make it very difficult in the future for you to ever get another visa, because we'll revoke that one, and life will get hard if you want another visa. But yes, someone will have to file for you.
And we don't fall under the lottery system. I know you also have a lottery system for some countries.
But that's for countries where we have very few immigrants from that particular nationality. We have a lot of Jamaicans who live in the United States, so they can't participate in the diversity visa program.
All right. Okay, thank you very much for calling.
Okay.
Have a wonderful day. Our guests, Consular Officers Kathy Adams and Jonathan Roy. I think, ladies and gentlemen, you have a few points to make before you leave us today.
Yes, Vernon, thank you for the opportunity. A couple of points that we think will help all our visa applicants in the future is, number one, when you are filling out the application, and you're going to be asked lots and lots of questions on the computer application, and many people have travel agents and other people assist them in filling out the form online, and we understand that. However, you yourself need to you need to understand that you are responsible for the answers that are entered in that form. And if the person who's filling it out maybe doesn't know certain things about you and they put something in there that is not true, this can cause problems when we begin to interview you, because we're seeing discrepancies in the information, and it reflects on your trustworthiness. The other point we'd like to make, and this came up recently because when elections were announced, we had a day of visa applicants scheduled. We wanted everyone to have a chance to participate in the electoral process, and we didn't want them to forego voting. So we asked them, so we needed to contact everybody. So please, when you fill out your application, make sure that you give information for a trusted person, not just a travel agent, but someone that you know will pass along information to you, because we may need to contact you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kathy Adams and Jonathan Roy. Thank you for being here today.